Ladies and gentlemen, as we have witnessed the arrival of our chief guest and special invitees this afternoon, we'll be now engaging in the flag hoisting ceremony. The Sri Lankan flag to be hoisted by our chief guest, Mr. Ashley Rapnaika. The Kensley Graduate School flag to be hoisted by the Director of Operations of Kensley Graduate School, Mr. Amir Fabrin. And also the OTHM flag to be hoisted by Head of Academics of Kensley Graduate School, Mrs. Shalindri Boma. Also requesting all graduates to take their respective places as you'll be entering the hall shortly. Requesting all graduates to take their respective places. Dear graduates, requesting all of you to take your respective places as we'll be witnessing the processional party leading their way towards the hall. So requesting all of you to please take your respective places. Dear graduates, please take your respective places. Thank you very much. Once again, this announcement goes out to all the graduates. Please do take your respective places and line up for the entry procession to take place. Dear graduates, please take your respective places at the entrance for the procession to take place. Thank you. Distinguished guest, keeping in line with the rich traditions of Sri Lanka, it's customary that we light this gracious event this afternoon by lighting a traditional oil lamp and burning light with this latest event. In order customs to take place, I request you rise as a sign of respect. Lighting very humbly and respectfully welcome our chief guest to join with us in lighting the traditional oil lamp. Chief guest, Mr. Ashley Ratnaika. Also very humbly and respectfully the guest of honor, but number one hero, to join in lighting the traditional Director of Operations of Kensley Graduate School, Mr. Osman Ahmed, join in lighting the traditional oil lamp. Also the head of academics of Kensley Graduate School, Shalindri Kumar, lecturer of Kensley Graduate School, Dr. Deepal Pereira, representing the lecturers at the Kensley Graduate School. Senior Manager, Admissions of Kensley Graduate School, Mr. Deep Kumar. And also I would like to invite the head of marketing of Kensley Graduate School, Mr. Jackson Raja, to join in lighting the traditional. ladies and gentlemen, you may now take your respective seats. A very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, special invitees, dignitaries, well-wishers, and those close and dear joining on a virtual platform, their parents, and of course, the shining ones this afternoon, undoubtedly the dear graduates. Dear graduates, it's a very important event for all of you today as we recognize and salute your great achievements for all the hard work and commitment you put in to make this day a success and of course a reality in front of your loved ones. With that, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to the graduation ceremony of the Kensley Graduate School. Well, of course, the Kensley Graduate School, with a vision to be the leading institution in Sri Lanka at the creation of pioneers in the business world. Well, this is, ladies and gentlemen, the second consecutive graduation hosted by the Kensley Graduate School. And also to give you a brief as to which awards will be presented this afternoon, we have the following profiles of graduates who will be felicitated at this gracious event. The OTHM Level 7 Postgraduate Diploma holders, they have completed a postgraduate diploma in one of the fields of strategic management, accounting, or marketing. Also, we have the MBA top-up holders. They have completed a general MBA top-up. Finally, the undergraduate degree holders, they have completed a degree in the area of business management. Well, this is indeed going to be a very eventful and a colorful one for all of you gathered here this afternoon. And not forgetting to mention that owing to the current restrictions which we are all facing here in Sri Lanka and across the globe, we are restricted to a certain capacity of individuals. And nevertheless, thanks to all the technological improvements, ladies and gentlemen, we are now being fortunate enough to join individuals who would have been here physically, but nevertheless, they are with us on the virtual platform. So it is my moment to say thank you very much for all these individuals joining with us on a virtual platform. The guest of honors of Kensley Graduation who are joining virtually are Mr. Sajid Mulafar and Mr. Asghar Razak, the Executive Directors at Kensley Graduate School, joining virtually from the UK. Ms. Patricia Land, Head of Operations and Compliance, OTHM Qualifications, who is joining virtually from the UK once again. Mrs. Elena Baskin, Deputy Head of Representative Office, Global University Systems, joining virtually from the UK. Well, also we have Mrs. Elena. She is once again the Deputy Head of Representative Office, Global University Systems, joining virtually from the UK. Mrs. Elena Kavarina, Regional Director, CIS, Global University Systems. Dr. Abdullah Rashid, Minister of Education, Maldives, joining virtually from the Maldives. We also have David Orford, Partnership Manager, Kensley Graduate School, joining virtually from the UK. Also, we would be failing if we don't mention our guests joining in virtually. Mr. Sanjeeva Marasinghe, representing Fixler Consultants, Mr. Melinda Tilakaratna, lecturer of Kensley Graduate School, who are joining to mark this event and, of course, showing their participation on the virtual platform. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, it's time for me to ask all of you to focus your attention on the screen, which is displayed on the stage, where we'll be having the official video featuring the 2020 graduation. Take a look. Ladies and gentlemen, with that official video for the graduation this afternoon, to formally welcome all of us to this gracious event, I would like to humbly and respectfully meet your applause. Welcome on stage the head of academic of Kensley Graduate School, Mrs. Shalindri Homer, to address the gathering. Let's all put our hands together.
Honorable Chief Guest, Mr. Ashley Ratnayaka, the Guest of Honor, Venerable Buddhyagama Dhammasena Thero, the Executive Directors of Kensley Graduate School, virtually presented Guest of Honor, lecturers, graduates, parents, and all other stakeholders present here today. It is indeed an honor to be able to warmly welcome you to the official graduation of Kensley Graduate School, covering the academic years of 2019, 20, and 2021. It is indeed no secret that the past few years have been challenging, and educational methods have had to adapt to a trend known as the new normal. However, your presence here today evidences the possibility of great achievements despite the circumstances. To all graduates, I offer my warmest congratulations on your academic success, the culmination of many months of dedication and hard work. But of course, this is only part of your story. Your graduating class has endured and overcome exceptional uncertainty and challenges. For some of you, your college experience may not have been what you expected. However, it is no short of remarkable and will form a foundation on which your future will be built upon. We, as your academic staff, are nothing short of ecstatic about your achievements. Parents and family, you placed your trust in Kensley Graduate School and supported your children to the fullest. Seeing you here today, celebrating the achievements of your loved ones, brings nothing but confidence about the future of Kensley. My dearest lecturers, working with you has been a true pleasure, and watching your dedication and molding our graduates amplifies the glory of an event of this magnitude. Finally, congratulations to my dearest graduates. You have shown us that you challenge boundaries, break out of them, and redefine them. On behalf of the management of Kensley Graduate School, I wish you nothing but the very best for your future. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was, of course, the head of academic of Kensley Graduate School, Mrs. Shalindri Homer, formally welcoming all of us here to the Kensley Graduate Graduation. Well, definitely thank you very much for that lovely welcome note. With that, it's time for us to hear from a very important person amidst all of us this afternoon. Well, that is when, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to humbly and respectfully invite our chief guest to address the gathering. But prior to inviting him to speak to us this afternoon, please give me a moment to read a bit of his illustrious profile. Well, a senior lecturer and principal management consultant, Chief Executive Officer, Sierra Communications Limited, just retired, former Managing Director, Anti-Group of Companies, General Manager, Metropolitan and Febton Limited, a corporate trainer, motivational speaker, and a radio and TV commentator, and of course, a presenter on cricket. Ladies and gentlemen, let's all put our hands together and welcome our distinguished chief guest this afternoon, Mr. Ashley Ratnaika.
Thank you very much for that warm introduction. Just slightly deviating from the prepared speech I have for the graduates as well as parents and the invitees, let me take you back to about 30, 40 years ago, looking at this beautiful facility, what was here before. I'm sure the young graduates wouldn't have even been born the year that I will be talking and referring to, but I'm sure most of the parents and some of the lecturers here remember. There was a splendid cricket ground here in the good old days, and that was known as Nomads Cricket. It's with a lot of nostalgia and with a lot of good memories and fun memories, I go back to my school days and my club cricket days, where we played serious cricket here, premier cricket in this ground. But today, it's turned out to be a wonderful facility where all of us are together and taking part in this important graduation ceremony. Coming back to today and the present moment, failure is the opportunity to begin more intelligently. Those were the wise words spoken by Henry Ford, the man who built the first automobile in the United States long years back, 1892. Well, the rest is history. When you look at the automobile industry and what it has evolved is obviously the hard work and also the passion and the commitment of people like Henry Ford, which made it possible for the automobile industry to become what it is. The reason I chose this quote from Henry Ford is for two reasons. One, it talks about failure, it talks about opportunity, and the necessity to begin more even intelligently, very appropriate for all of our young students and young graduates here today. And then the second part is, though Henry Ford was the man who had to wear his overalls, work in that small garage office in his house, and design, built this first Ford automobile way back going into the 1890s, who drove that vehicle first? Now this is where the importance comes of our spouses, the ladies in our life. Well, Henry Ford didn't have the opportunity to drive his first vehicle. It was driven, taken to the streets by his wife, and that happens to be Clara Jane Brandt, who, well, she wanted to go on a shopping spree, maybe go to the city. She was looking around, she saw the car that was built by her husband, got into it and drove. Halfway it stopped, and all the people who were standing in awe had to help her to push it back to the garage. And that first vehicle was known as the quadricycle. That's how important the ladies and how they have stamped their presence in the current context as well. All you young graduates, students, the males specifically, remember, you respect the ladies first. A very good afternoon to each and every one of you. Venerable Buddhyagama Dhammasena Thera, presiding this evening as the guest of honor, members of the Board of Governors, Mr. Sajid Molafa, Mr. Askar Razak. Then we also have Head of Operations and Compliance OTHM, Deputy Head of Representatives Office, Regional Director CIS Global University Systems, and the Honorable Minister of Education from the Maldives Islands. All of them are using technology in the current context to join in this graduation ceremony virtually. And then we also have here Mr. Osman Mohammed Amir, the Director of Operations, who's based in Sri Lanka, and of course, the able Head of Academic, Shalindri Home as well. The faculty, staff of Kensley College, proud parents of the graduates, and my dear students. I will fail in my duty if I don't refer to another gentleman, and that is the person who was behind my introduction to Kensley College, my fellow batchmate and very close friend dating back to long years, Dr. Deepal Pereira, who is a lecturer and part of the academic panel at Kensley College as well. First of all, I must thank all of you for inviting me as a chief guest for today's graduation ceremony. I am truly humbled and consider this a very much a privilege to be a part of this very important event indeed. The importance of this event and the significance certainly cannot be put into words. At the conclusion of this ceremony, all these young graduates will be walking away armed with a very worthy qualification, and as they prepare themselves to meet the future challenges. Some of them will be qualifying in postgraduate diplomas, MBAs, and undergraduate degrees as well in business management and various other study formats. However, this message is for the undergraduates themselves, the graduates. Please do remember, this is not the end of your qualification. This is in fact the beginning. I'm sure this message has been very strongly drilled into you. Remember, this is the first, the second, and perhaps even the third step that you're taking in developing your academic skills and preparing yourself to face the commercial world that is prevalent in our country as well as elsewhere in the world as well. Now, why am I saying this is your first, second, and the third step? Believe me, there is no end to the amount of education one can acquire. Even at some of our elderly ages or senior ages, there are many who still pursue their passion to study. There is no end to what you can learn. As it is said, even at deathbed, you learn how to die. Just reflect. Think. This is your first step, second step, perhaps the third step. Just because you have an MBA, that doesn't mean that it is the end, that it is the conclusion of your academic career. This is just the beginning. Prepare yourself. Prepare yourself for hard work. There is no room for shortcuts. Certainly not. If you want to achieve, if you want to make your plans, your dreams come true, prepare yourself for. There is absolutely no shortcuts in whatever way, in whichever way, for you to achieve success. And that is something for all of us to keep in mind. When I was reading through the profile of your esteemed college, something which caught my attention was the fact where it very specifically states one of the primary objectives of Kensley College is to prepare the students academically and as well as practically in their educational curriculum. Now, how upon is that? Believe me, I do a lot of workshops for universities, including our national universities, the University of Colombo and so on and so forth, where now some of the faculty members have realized the curriculums that we have, perhaps even starting from school level, concentrates only on the academic stuff. There is no room to teach you about the practicalities of education, life, the commercial world, the challenges. Now this is very, very important indeed. And I'm extremely happy to know Kensley College has already inbuilt this thought process into the study programs that you. Believe me, I come with more than 4 decades of work experience as well, at varying levels, starting as a simple technician. As I rose myself to whatever the positions that I held in the past, working in large corporates in Sri Lanka and overseas, one of the problems which I have mainly seen in the local context is that we have organizations within organizations, companies within companies, rooms within rooms, cubicles within cubicles, individuals specifically working only within themselves. No teamwork. Does not understand to share their knowledge. Does not understand the importance of working together. And this has had very detrimental effects to the corporate world of our country. Some of the companies which have worked, which are 100 years old, are no more. They have just been obliterated. They are not there anymore. That's because they have not been able to harness the knowledge, the talent of their staff and get them to work in a sense of practicality, working together, working as a team member, sharing their knowledge, their capability, their strength, and so on and so on. So this is a very important aspect that has been looked at by Kensley College, which I salute them very much. Perhaps this happened because I believe the founders of your esteemed college are Sri Lankans. So they have had hands-on experience to the factors which I just mentioned. Of course, they are also educationists as well in England, but I'm sure knowing the corporate world and what happens here, they have certainly focused on a very important aspect. The practical nature that is required within ourselves to apply, to adapt to changing situations. Very critical indeed. That certainly speaks volume to the success of your school. Looking at 80 plus graduates in the current context, this is absolutely wonderful. And I'm sure the school will go from strength to strength, and with this type of curriculums and the background and the vision of the people behind the college. I must say, part of education and provide education. To provide education, you have to receive that as a special gift. I always make it a point to mention this. To impart knowledge to someone, you have to have that commitment, that blessing to teach someone, to make sure somebody learns something and becomes a better citizen tomorrow. And that comes from above. All laborers are worthy of repayment, no question about it. But make sure that the study programs, the curriculums are apt and that they suit the individual requirements of each of your students so that you make them better citizens tomorrow. That's my message to the college. And to the faculty members, yes, it's lovely to have a vision of bringing these practical aspects to the curriculums, the education factors. But you teachers, you have to know how to adapt yourselves within the framework the university provides for each subject. How you bring in those practical experience so that you condition your student to learn the academics, learn the curriculums, but more so to prepare them to face the future from a practical sense as well. Very critical. Students, remember, now you are aptly armed, and perhaps, as I said before, with your initial qualifications. We talk about this current situation amidst this COVID pandemic and so many other uncertainties that is very much prevalent in our country and elsewhere as well. Don't be disheartened. Don't be discouraged. Don't look at the negativities. But strengthen your resolve. Look at the opportunities that you have had. Look at what you are today. You're graduating from a prestigious school, armed with a qualification that will help you to set forth to new ventures and to face the future with a lot of strength and confidence. There is always a silver line in every cloud, in every dark cloud, so to speak. Look at the opportunities. Look at the time that you have had now during this period where you had to be under lockdown. You would have had more time to spend with your loved ones, your parents. Take a look at yourself, how to restructure yourself in terms of education, in terms of what you're supposed to do, in terms of how you're going to apply yourself to become successful tomorrow. All is not bad just because the situation is very deploring, so to say, around us, particularly in our country. Look at some of our neighboring countries: Bhutan, Nepal, Bangladesh, Maldives, India. Look at the way that they are doing things. Today, Bangladesh has become the largest exporter of finished garments to the world. Our garment factories have reduced to something like around less than 1,000. Whereas in Bangladesh, the amount of garment factories have increased to 4,500. They have even gone past China. China so much so has taken a step back. They have moved away from the finished garment business because they can't compete with Bangladesh anymore. Country with so much of wealth, so much of land mass and so much of other infrastructure. They have moved out. They have allowed Bangladesh to take the center stage. And they are the number. And if you look at some of the 10 most richest people in the world during these last 2 years, they have increased their wealth by more than sometimes as numbers which I read 1,000 times. They are from billions, they have moved into trillions. But there is opportunity. If you look, if you know where to knock, which door to open, yes, certainly you will find enough and more opportunity to move forward. And that's for you, students. Don't follow. One of my strongest messages to the graduates: don't be a follower, but be a leader. Always be dynamic, be challenging, challenge yourself continuously, and push yourself to achieve the best that you can. I have a small message for our dear parents, guardians, and the well-wishers here as well, the elders particularly. Remember, dear parents, as I, a parent, has come to the realization, our children are not ours to keep forever. It's a harsh reality, which I have now come to accept. Having 2 big daughters who have, just like you, graduated from University of Kelaniya and Colombo and so on and so forth. So they are not mine to keep forever. Guide, teach, motivate, encourage, and be there for them always, parents. But remember, we have to teach them to fly and make sure they learn how to fly so that they will be safe and will know how to look after themselves. As it is said, children are a gift of God. They belong to God. And we parents are only short-term guardian. So that is a very strong message to our parents. Coming back to our students, my parting words to the students. This ceremony is all about you. Your hard work, your achievements. And as such, graduates, relive this moment. Enjoy and cherish this moment. There are a few of us here who have gone through this process long, long years ago, and it takes our mind back when we were like you, seated expectantly, and then with a lot of excitement as well. So relive that. But remember, the future is all of you, and it's yours now. The future is all you, and the future is yours now. At times, opportunity drops into your lap. Don't let go of it. Don't allow it to slip through your fingers. Some of us have had that experience. Don't allow it to slip through. Grab it, hold it, make use of it, and make sure that you take the next step with a positive form of mind so that you will be successful. One thing I ask from you today, do not ever fear failure, but be terrified of regret. Remember, giving up is the birth of regret. That's very, very strong words, but very appropriate as well in today's context. Do not fear failure, but be terrified of regret. Don't think back later on and say, I should have done this, I should have done that. Make use of the opportunities that come your way. You will have many doors shut in your face. You will be told to go away. People will slam doors in your face, and you will be treated as an outcast. The more the no's, you will have more yes within yourself, and that's what my message is for you today. Don't ever take no for an answer. And finally, let me conclude this little talk that I have had with you by wishing each and every one of you best what life can offer you, and then also congratulate you, each and every one individually, on your achievements. Best of luck, and may God be with you always. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, shall we all put our hands together one more time for Mr. Ashley Ratnaika for those lovely words and very thoughtful moments being described on this very special day for our dear graduates this afternoon. Thank you very much, Mr. Ashley Ratnaika. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, family, and dear graduates, we come into the most awaited moment, which is, of course, the presentation of awards, and where we recognize you on this very stage this evening in front of your loved ones. Today, we facilitate multiple graduates who have completed their Level 7 Postgraduates Diploma from OTHM UK. The graduates have completed either of the following qualifications, and to name, the OTHM Level 7 Postgraduate Diploma in Strategic Management and Leadership, OTHM Level 7 Postgraduate Diploma in Accounting and Finance, OTHM Level 7 Postgraduate Diploma in Strategic Marketing, as well as OTHM Level 7 Postgraduate Diploma in Logistics and Supply Chain Management. With that, it's time for us to start off with the distribution of awards for May 2019 batch. In order to hand out the awards, very humbly and respectfully, once again, I would like to invite our chief guest, Mr. Ashley Ratnaika, to join us on stage and to be assisted by our guest of honor this afternoon, Venerable Buddhagama Dhammasena Thero. As we commence with the presentation this afternoon, batch 2019 of May. Ladies and gentlemen, let's all put our hands together. Mr. Ravi Soiza. Let's all put our hands together as they are recognized on this stage this afternoon. Mrs. Harushini Kurupu Arachi. Miss Anakali Pallia Guruge. Final from May 2019 batch, Mr. Janaka Abe Vikrama. We move on to batch January 2020. Mr. Akila Udayanga. Mr. Amila Patirana. Mr. Seven Ravishankar. Mr. Iroshan Edrosuria. Mr. Kasum Sanjay. Mr. Prasad Evage. Mrs. Nimasha Rashini. Miss Sagira Amira. Mr. Brendan Pereira. Mr. R. Indakumar. Miss Lakshmi Disanaika. Mr. Abdul Rahman. Mrs. Chami Dilrukshi. Miss Anita Shanika Henry. Mr. Isuranga Sanjaya. Miss Nitya Vetivel. Mr. Rajita Veeraratna. Mrs. Hamsini Madhubashini Pereira. Mr. Mohammed Irsat. Mr. Jayan Jayamaha. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, from the batch of 2020 January, we have Mr. Kanishka Rapnapala. Well, with that, thank you very much to our guest of honor, Venerable Buddhagama Dhammasenathero, for joining with us on stage to distribute the first set of awards, together with our distinguished chief guest, Mr. Ashley Ratnaika, for joining with us to give away the awards. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, with the first set of awards being presented this afternoon, next we have the Executive Director, Mr. Sajid Mulafar, joining from the UK, will now address the gathering. Let's all take a look.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sajid Mulafar. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Kensley Graduate School. Unfortunately, I will not be attending this special event due to contracting COVID last week, and my self-isolation period has not yet ended. I would like to take this opportunity to thank our Chief Guest, Ashley Ratnaika, Head of Operation, Sierra Technology Holdings, our Guest of Honor, Buddhagama Dhammasenathero, Kensley Partnership Manager, David Offord, Ms. Elena, Deputy Head Representative Office, Global University Systems UK, Ms. Elena Kavari, Regional Director, LSBF London, distinguished guests, invitees, my faculty members, academic and non-academic staff, my friends and families, respected educational consultants, proud parents and their families, graduates, fellow students, ladies and gentlemen, it's with great honor and privilege I welcome you to this ceremony. We at Kensley Graduate School, we strive to ensure that each and every student who walk out of our building will have a firm foundation and a prosperous future. Indeed, finishing the challenging academic year during this time of the COVID-19 pandemic is remarkable, since it has been inevitable to face and accept the new normal landscape of education. The motivation and support of the communities, and improve the qualities of life. Great leaders and positive contributors are what we need to the disaster-prone and pandemic vulnerable countries like ours. Hence, you may be the champion of our nation's future. We will always take pride in your achievement. My sincere commendation to all the administrators and to the members, non-teaching staff for providing the highest degrees of the service. Have a great day. Thank you very much for coming.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was, of course, Mr. Sajid Mulafur joining with us all the way from the UK on a virtual platform, extending his well wishes to all of you this afternoon. With that, as we move on with the presentation of awards this afternoon, once again, I would like to humbly and respectfully invite our chief guest, Mr. Ashley Ratnaika, to join with us on stage, together to be assisted by Dr. Deepal Pereira, lecturer of Kensley Graduate School. We start off with the presenting of the batch of 2020, June, and the names as follows. Ladies and gentlemen, let's all put our hands together for Mrs. Navodaya Dias. Mr. Kishan Aryarapna. Mr. Tushara Vijayakon. Mr. Fazil Rahman. Mr. Dasun Sandruan. Mr. Sasit Chadra. Mr. Nakib Mohammed Nilafar. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, from the same batch, June 2020, we have Mr. Braden Wanhart. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Deepal, for joining with us in assisting, presenting the set of awards for June batch 2020. While we request our distinguished chief guest to remain with us as we continue with the presentation, I would like to humbly and respectfully invite Head of Academic of Kensley Graduate School, Ms. Shalindri Homer, to join with us for the presentation of the next set of awards. We move on to batch of November of the the year 2020. Starting off, we have Mrs. Delini Hansini. Mrs. Tamira Rushani. Mr. Kasun Taranga. Mr. Mohammed Rizan. Miss Lakisha Pereira. Mrs. Anuradha Fonseca. Mrs. Nilakshi Pereira. Mr. Faisal Farooq. Mr. Shashika Ayesh. Mr. Pilina Disanaika. Mr. Mario Diaz. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, from the same batch, November 2020, we have Miss Fazlul Rishta. Well, thank you very much to our presenting party for joining with us in presenting the set of awards. Thank you very much. Well, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and dear graduates, we are moving on to a very significant moment on today's agenda, which is, of course, Kensley is extremely proud to launch the ACCA qualification at this grand gala event. When you study with ACCA, you can take your career in any direction. You open doors to the best and most interesting roles all over the world. And you become one of the sought-after finance professionals our fast-changing world needs. It's a rewarding and intense path, and we are here to support you at every stage of your career. Get a flying start to your business career with ACCA. Kensley Graduate School has established a partnership with LSBF UK in order to provide lecturers for all ACCA subjects starting from June 2022 exam cycle. London School of Business and Finance offers industry-focused programs designed to reflect global market trends. LSBF attracts the most talented and ambitious candidates from around the world and works together with its corporate partners to develop programs structured with an up-to-date and international perspective in mind. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, let's focus our attention on the screen as we have the official video featuring the Kensley Graduate School ACCA launch at this great event. Take a look. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is, of course, the official launch of ACCA here this afternoon at this graduation, and we're fortunate enough to witness the launch of ACCA here at Kensley Graduate School. With that, we have Miss Elena Basking and Mrs. Elena Cavrina representing the LSBF partnership, who will share some of their thoughts this afternoon. Let's take a listen.
Students, can you manage? Do you see me on the screen? Hello, dear our partner Kensley Business School. Once again, you see today so many words and so many words of congratulations on such a big event in your life, on your graduation. Students, can you manage to see me on the screen? Hello, dear our partner Kensley Business School. Once again, you see today so many words and so many words of congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, extremely sorry about that technical difficulty. We were joining them on a virtual Zoom platform, but however, it was not successful. But nevertheless, their well-wishers are with all of us as we launch ACCA here at Kensley Graduate School. With that, it's time for us to move on to a briefing about ACCA qualification. So let's take a look at this video, which will give you an in-depth detail on ACCA qualification.
Do you want a career with limitless opportunities? Our qualifications and skills are in demand, and the key to your future success. By studying with ACCA, you could have a finance career that can take you in any direction. Millions of exciting new jobs and gain a passport to a whole world of possibilities. We'll equip you with the work-ready skills needed to thrive in a fast-changing digital landscape, which is why employers trust us. At ACCA, we understand everyone has a different journey to success, which is why some of your existing qualifications could count towards your ACCA exams. You'll also have the opportunity to gain additional qualifications such as a degree or master's from one of our many partners, meaning you can gain 2 leading qualifications at the same time. And because we know everyone has different commitments and lifestyles, there are flexible study options available, so you can go at a time and pace that suits you. With ACCA, you're never alone. You'll be part of a global network of over 500,000 students and 200,000 members. So what are you waiting for? Give your career the ultimate flying start with the business qualification that takes you where you want to go.
With that video giving us a very precise and a very clear picture on ACCA qualification, ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for us to once again move on to the presentation of awards this evening, and that is when I would like to once again humbly and respectfully invite our chief guest, Mr. Ashley Ratnayaka, together with our guest of honor, Venerable Buddhiyagama Dhammasenatero, to join with us on stage for the presentation of the next set of awards. Ladies and gentlemen, we move on with the presentation of the batch of February for 2021. The first to walk on stage from the batch of February 2021 is Miss Dinoka Sevane Suraja. Let's all put our hands together. Mr. Dilan Gunabodhana. Mr. Anthony Jerem. Mrs. Yashoda Munasinghe. Mrs. Inola Pereira. Mr. Chalimda Vikramaratna. Mr. Asita Madanayaka. Mr. Ranuka Gunasekara. Mr. Mohammed Bishri. And finally, from the batch of February 2021, Mr. Chaitya Janit. We move on to the batch of May 2021. Let's all put our hands together to you, Mr. Imdika Vitanagay. Mr. Buddhika Lianagama. Mr. Akalanka Kogalaheba. Mr. Tomonori Alexandra. Mrs. Shivanti Manuel. Mr. Mohammed Zahir. Miss Fatima Fazna Mohammed Faiz. Miss Newton Taufik. Mr. Tanuja Dairapna. Mr. Kavindu Dilshan Haputantrike. Mr. Marikar Hashim. Miss Fatima Safana. Mr. Gajendran. Mr. Ramlan Tuan Rahim. Miss Mahesha De Silva. Miss Sonali Vikramasinghe. Miss Kirtika Megavarnan. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, from the batch of May 2021, we have Mr. Jesdasan Lester Lloyd. Well, thank you very much to our presenting party for joining with us in presenting the awards. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, as we move on with presenting awards to our undergraduates this evening, I would like to invite Mr. Pradeep Kumar, together with Mr. Shamri Nuzli of Kensley Graduate School, to join with us on stage for the presentation of awards to our undergraduates. From the list of undergraduates to be felicitated this evening, we have first and foremost Miss Victoria Domingo. Mr. Henry Domingo. Mr. Mohammed Afri Jamaldeen. Miss Fatima Hasna Muhammad Hamza. Mr. Atik Ahmed. Mr. Nimhat Wahir. And on the list, finally from the list of undergraduates, we have Mr. Anas Mohammed Rilvan. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Shamri Nuzli, for joining with us in presenting. While we request Mr. Pradeep Kumar to remain on stage to distribute the awards, I would like to invite Mr. Irham Rizvi of Kensley Graduate School to join with us on stage for the presentation of awards to MBA top-up graduates. First on the list of MBA top-up graduates to receive the award this evening, we have Mr. Chavanta Milana. Mr. Lakmal Karunasena. Mr. Lalit Pereira. Mr. Prasanga Udugama. Well, thank you very much to our presenting party for joining with us in presenting the awards to MBA top-up graduates. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, we have come to an end of presenting the most awaited awards this afternoon. I think all these amazing graduates deserve a very big round of applause to yourself. Let's all put our hands together. Congratulations on your resounding success and victory. With that, it's time for us to say thank you very much to someone very special in our midst. In order to present the token of appreciation, I would like to invite Mr. Osman Mohammed Amir, Director of Operations of Kensley, and to be assisted by Ms. Shalindri Homer, Head of Academics of Kensley Graduate School, to join with us on stage as we say thank you very much to a very special person in our midst this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, this individual deserves a big round of applause as we say thank you very much to him. None other than our chief guest who took time off his busy schedule and he's with us. I would like to invite to receive his token of appreciation this evening to none other than our chief guest, Mr. Ashley Ratnaika. Let's all put our hands together as we have our chief guest, Mr. Ashley Ratnaika, receiving his token of appreciation. Thank you very much, sir, for taking time off and being with us, and of course for those inspiring words to all of us, and especially the graduating batch this evening. Next, to be recognized and say thank you very much, we would like to humbly and respectfully invite our distinguished guest of honor, Venerable Buddhyagama Dhammasenatero, to join with us on stage as we have a special token to say thank you very much to our special guest of honor. Let's all put our hands together as we say thank you very much to the most venerable for joining with us. As we request our presenting party to remain on stage, it's time for us to say thank you very much to a group of individuals who work tirelessly to make sure that your dream of graduating today is made complete. They too have taken time off their busy schedule, balancing their work life and also their family life, and they have taken time off and dedicated so much of time and attention to detail to make sure that their amazing students one day end up being graduated. So that dream has been made a reality, and that is when we say thank you very much to the panel of amazing lecturers here at Kensley Graduate School. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time that we applaud them. And starting off, I would like to invite to be felicitated on this very stage, Dr. Deepal Pereira. Let's all put our hands together to Dr. Deepal Pereira. Next, thank you very much. We have, and we would love to invite on stage, Dr. Neil Bogalamda. And we proceed with the list of felicitating our lecturers, Dr. Ramzia Begum. Mr. Mohammed Faizur Abdul Rahim. Big round of applause to Mr. Mohammed Faizur Abdul Rahim. Next, to be appreciated with a token of appreciation, Mr. Danushka Vijayakon. Miss Rukhsana Hassan. Let's all put our hands together. Much. Last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Adin Matitaran. Once again, shall we all put our hands together to the amazing panel of lecturers who make your dreams a reality. Thank you very much. It's also right that we appreciate these individuals who are with us this evening. Well, that is when we hand out tokens of appreciation to third-party stakeholders who have assisted Kensley through the past academic year. Starting off with the list, I would like to invite Mr. Imran Kamil representing Mara Study Abroad. Mr. M.T.M. Harris representing Sky Admissions. Mr. Ifam Samsudin representing Icon Consultants. Mr. Shahul Hamid Mohammed representing Colombo Higher Education Consultancy Private Limited. Mr. Fawmit Hazim representing Sigma Consultants. Mr. K. M. Aslam representing Scholar Hub. Mr. Fazneen Muzaffar representing Finwin Education Group. Mr. Rizwan representing SI UK. Mr. Ansar Ghafoor, representing EBIS Education Consultancy. Mr. Sajid Abdul Rahim, representing Achievers International. And finally, Dr. Dexter Fernando, representing Westbom Campus. Once again, a very big thank you goes out to all the third-party stakeholders who have assisted Kensley through the past academic year. Thank you very much for your support. And thank you very much indeed goes out to Mr. Amir as well as Mrs. Shalindri for joining with us on stage to give away those tokens of appreciation this afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, it's time for us to bring in more light and energy to this room, I would say, as we have a beautiful trilingual entertainment act specially designed for this day, and that is of course led by a staff member of Kensley Graduate School. Let's all enjoy.
congrats to the happy grads. And yeah, I'm the aforementioned Kensley staff member, and this is Avan Irena Raisaguru. Yeah, so let's enjoy the rest.
So she said, what's the problem, baby? What's the problem? I don't know yet, baby. I'm in love. Thinking about it every time I'm thinking about it. Can't stop thinking about it. How much longer really takes to cure this? Just to cure it, cause I can't ignore if it is love. It makes me wanna turn up, kiss me, but I don't know nothing about love. Come on, turn a little faster. Come on, world before the after. Come on, cause everybody's after love. So I said I'm a snowball running down into the spring that's coming on the floor. Melting under blue sky, melting out sunlight, shimmering world. But baby, I surrender to the strawberry ice cream, never ever ending all this love. Well, I didn't mean to do it, there's no escaping your love. These lights of light were never alone. No, come on, move a little closer. Come on, I wanna hear you whisper. Come on, settle down inside my love. Come on, jump a little higher. Come on, if you feel a little higher. Come on, we were once upon a time in love. Accidentally in love. Accidentally in love. Accidentally in love. Accidentally in love. Accidentally, I'm love. Accidentally, I'm love. Accidentally, come on, get a little tighter. Come on, when the world's a little brighter. Come on, stretch yourself inside my love. I'm in love. Lihat tambara, butuh कुसुम की है रहने समर बिना लोगे जीवे लोगे जीवे ये तमरा खुद कुसुम की है रहने समर बिना लोगे जीवे लोगे जीवे स्तुति
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, indeed a very spectacular performance this evening. Shall we all put our hands together one more time for that great entertainment? Thank you very much. With that, it's time for us to bring things to a close this evening, and that is when, in order to make the closing remarks and deliver the vote of thanks, I would like to invite Mr. Pradeep Kumar of Kensley Graduate School to do the honors.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening to you all. The best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. The commitment towards the cause, the attitude to stay positive right throughout, the will to stay committed towards your goal, and the determination to complete what you started. They must be felt by the heart, and thank you is one such prayer among them. It gives me immense pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks for this event to all dignitaries assembled here today. I would like to thank our chief guest, Mr. Ashley Ratnayaka, who honored the function with his inspirational thoughts. Our guest of honor, Venerable Buddhiyagama Dhammasenathera, and to all the guests who took their time to be here or join us virtually. On this special evening, I would also like to congratulate all the graduates on their success and their achievement. And we would also like to thank everyone's families for taking this time and opportunity to be present here with us to witness their special moment. I take this opportunity also to express our gratitude to our lecturers who are here with us today and those who could not participate this evening. We are very grateful to you for playing a significant role in the lives of these students. You have been the reason for their success as well as ours. Last but not least, I would like to thank my team of Kensley Graduate School for supporting and making this occasion a success. Wishing everyone a bright future. Thank you and stay safe.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Pradeep Kumar of Kensley Graduate School, for making those closing remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, like it was very clearly mentioned, thank you very much to all of you for making your time and being with these amazing graduates and making it more of a colorful and a wonderful event that will be etched in their hearts and minds forever. With that, while we also say thank you very much to our chief guest and also our guest of honor, and also not forgetting everyone joining on the virtual platform, witnessing your achievements this evening. Thank you very much to all the parents as well and the families for joining. With that, it's time for us to celebrate your success this evening and congratulate all of you. Shall we all one more time put our hands together as we say congratulations to the deserving class. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. With that, I would like to request all of you to please rise for the singing and playing of the national anthem. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Before we leave, just a kind announcement going out to all of you on how the refreshments will be served hereinafter. Well, the chief guest and lecturers at the lounge at the right-hand side of the main hall. Third-party stakeholders at the lounge to the left side of the hall. And parents and dear graduates, your refreshments will be served outside the main hall. Thank you very much. Have yourself a great evening. Take care and stay safe. Good night.